Thank you for joining us again for Let the Bible Speak. As always, we are available to you for in-person Bible studies, virtual Bible studies. We have the materials available to help you in your study of God's Word. If you're interested, call the number at the bottom of the screen, 843-553-5157. Now, just yesterday, we started looking at 3 John, and we began discussing this idea of reputation. What is your reputation? And we saw in the first few verses there that this man by the name of Gaius, he actually has a good reputation, verses 1 through about 7. And we see that, and John says he has no greater joy than to hear about his children, talking about those that he would have taught the gospel, that they are walking in the faith, and it had a significant impact on him. We pick up now our reading in 3 John chapter 1, verses 9 through 11. And today we're not talking about the good reputation, but rather we're talking about someone who had a different kind of reputation. In verse 9, he says, I wrote to the church, but Diotrephes, who loves to have the preeminence among them, does not receive us. Therefore, if I come, I will call to mind his deeds, which he does, prating against us with malicious words. And not content with that, you see, here's a man that is talking about them, attacking them with malicious words, but he's just not satisfied with just talk. He says, and he's not content with that. He himself does not receive the brethren and forbid those who wish to, putting them out of the church. You see, he's not satisfied with just talk, but rather he's rejecting God's people. That's his reputation. And not just rejecting God's people, but anyone that would be okay with God's people, anybody that would say, yes, God's people, you can come in here, he puts them out of the church. In verse 11, we get a snapshot of who this guy is. He says, beloved, do not imitate what is evil. Diotrephes' reputation was not a good one. He had one that was known as evil. And that's not the kind of reputation that you and I want. His actions are not the kind of actions that we want to follow. And certainly this is very specific to what he was doing to Christians. But you can think more broadly. We don't ever want to have a reputation for being known for what is evil. Lying and stealing and cheating, engage in sexual sins, cheating on our jobs, robbing the people, being unfair and unjust, being uncaring and unloving. Those things should not characterize the person of God. What is your reputation? Now, I think it's one of those questions that you sort of have to look at yourself. You have to look at how people respond to you. You have to look in, maybe even have to listen to what people say about you. I used to think years ago that it just didn't really matter what people said about me. But you study scriptures long enough and you realize, well, yes, it does. Because they may be saying things that are actually true about you. And that may be a call to change. That's our time. If you'd like to study more about this, happy to do that. Just let us know if you have a need. 843-553-5157. We'll see you next time.